Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Vin.
The travel industry has been heavily affected by COVID-19, with only essential travel being permitted.
We'll be getting some hints and tips from travel expert Chelsea Dickenson on how to get your money back for cancelled holidays.
This has also had a big impact on businesses. We'll be talking to Gareth Marshall, who runs accommodation abroad. But before that, Cat-Cam!
So peaceful. Let's talk to travel expert Chelsea Dickenson.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hi, guys.
So, how much of an impact has the pandemic had on the travel industry?
In April, it was the World Travel and Tourism Council. They predicted that if this was to continue on for a few months, that we could see a global loss of 75 million jobs and 2.1 trillion in revenue. So it's been impacted in an absolutely massive way. I mean, just in the UK alone, if you look at the companies that we are using when we're booking our holidays, things like that, at the start of May, Ryanair spoke about cutting 3,000 jobs. BA are saying that they may not even run out of Gatwick anymore, so a lot of jobs probably be lost there too. So there's been a huge, huge shift, and I think we are going to see a dramatic change, like in the months and years to come, when it comes to travel and the companies that we normally book with.
And like you say, I mean, this is developing every day. But from what we do know, for anybody that has booked, a flight, holiday, or any form of travel abroad, and they're now wanting a refund, what would your advice be to them?
So the refund issue is a very tricky one because it all depends on your circumstances. So if they're cancelled, the rules state, so you've got the EU rules, and also you've got like a ruling from the CMA, who are the Competitions and Marketing Authority. They say you deserve a full refund because it's not your fault that you can't go on that holiday, and therefore that's what you should get. However, and a lot of people will have experienced this already, many companies are just offering vouchers. And they may last between 12 months up to maybe 3 or 4 years. But the fact of the matter is, if you've got £4,000, which many families, that's what they spend on their summer holidays, being told, no, you can't have that money back, that's a big issue, especially when people have been losing their jobs and things like that. What I'd say to those people is the rules are there, the regulations are there. You need to go back to them and say, I'm sorry. The EU, the CMA are both saying that I deserve my money back. If they don't give it you back, then the CMA actually have a complaints form on their website. If you just Google it, it will all come up, and you can lodge a complaint against that company. Other people have been telling me they've had success by complaining publicly to the companies on their Facebook and their Twitters. It's a bit of a mess, I'm not going to lie. And that's just for the people who've actually had their holidays cancelled. For the people who haven't yet, because some flights are still going, even though there's not many people on them. And some hotels are saying that they're still open, even though you can't physically get to them. It becomes a lot harder. What I'd say for those people is, first and foremost, if your holiday's in August and September, there's not going to be a lot that you can do yet. It's just too far out. And I know that's really frustrating, especially when there's a lot of money being talked about here. But the problem is that the Foreign Office are currently saying that we shouldn't have any essential travel, but they don't have a date on it. And the problem with not having a date is that we as travellers and companies aren't able to say, no, you definitely won't be able to come on this holiday yet. And the problem with that is they therefore can't give you the refund because there's no certainty around it. So what I would say, for the most chance of, getting a successful return, you're going to be having to wait 2 to 3 weeks before your holiday is coming out. I know it's so frustrating, but that's when companies are starting to prioritize and get back to people. They may offer you a voucher if it's not cancelled and say, you can do this and just change it to another date. But ultimately, as it comes closer, you might get that email through that says it's been cancelled, and then all the legal bits come into play for you to get that full refund. Oh, as I say, it's not straightforward.
No, not at all.
I mean, I have a friend actually who runs a company, and they rely on a lot of travel, and she's booked hundreds of flights throughout the next 2 years, and a lot of them have just been cancel, or I think she said she's supposed to be getting vouchers, but she hasn't actually seen anything yet from the airlines, and that's a scary prospect for her, and I suppose a lot of companies that rely on flight to get anywhere, I suppose.
No, absolutely. And that is something that we're seeing, that people are asking for vouchers, aren't seeing them. Ultimately, I think it's just a massive admin task at the moment for a lot of travel companies, and they just don't have the level of people to be processing all the claims and all the vouchers. And that's why it's taking so long for people to get refunds, to get vouchers. Companies will probably know to not put so much in writing at the moment, but do your best to try and get, something written, even if it's on Facebook Messenger or on Twitter, something that proves that they've said you can get a refund.
What other option is there available if, this first step doesn't kind of work out, you're just not successful getting a refund? Is there anything else that people can do?
Yes, there is. So if you put on a debit card within the last 120 days, or you put on a credit card and spent over £100, then you can look at going through debit and credit chargeback schemes. The credit card chargeback scheme is the one that has the more hefty protections with it. That's the one you kind of want. That's why you might have heard people say, if you're booking something, book it on a credit card, because it comes with this insurance policy. The great news about credit card chargeback is, initially, if a company was saying to you, no, you can have a voucher, the credit card companies are saying that's enough for a refund, we're not going to follow that up for you. But thanks to the ruling from the Competition and Marketing Authority a few weeks ago, saying that they are going to start looking into companies who are doing this, and that was enough for a few banks to say, okay, we're going to start processing these chargebacks and trying to get this refund for you. Amazing. So the way that you can go about doing this, there are companies such as MoneySaving Expert and Which, who will have forms that allow you to fill in all your details, and they'll do it for you. But actually, the best way to do it is to go direct through your bank. We all know that picking up the phone at the moment, you're not going to get through to them very quickly, but most of the banks actually have a specific page for this, and it's an online form, and it's super easy. So just try searching for your bank name and chargeback. It's called Section 75. That's like the law, the protection that you get with it. So try Googling Section 75 chargeback from the name of your bank. Failing that, because some of them, they are quite hard to find, try and speak to them on social media or on their web chat, because at least you can leave that going, do your own thing, and not be stuck on the phone. So that's one way that you can do it. The debit card that I mentioned is, there's less protections behind it, but it's still a similar process. They can go and try and request that money back. When banks are trying to get this money back, they're doing basically the same job that you're trying to do by going direct to the company, in that they may not get the money until you would have got the money anyway. So you may think, why bother doing this? Because I'm already asking for a refund. I'm not going to get it any quicker by going through my bank. Well, the credit card company, in some cases, will actually return that money back to you really quickly. The catch is, if the company turns around in so many weeks' time and says, no, we're not giving that refund, they can take it out again. So that's something to be definitely aware of. But the massive perk that I think comes from the credit card chargeback scheme is that once you've opened that chargeback claim, if that company was to go bust, you're still covered then by your credit card insurance.
Honestly, thank you so much for all your hints and tips there. Honestly, they're really helpful. You've definitely helped us from a personal point of view, haven't you? So,
yeah, definitely.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Some amazing information there.
Definitely. Coming up, we'll be speaking to Gareth Marshall about the effect that the pandemic has had on his overseas accommodation.
But before all that, caca!
Oh, I wonder what he's thinking about.
Probably his next meal.
Probably.
Let's talk to Gareth. He manages holiday properties in France and Portugal. Hey, Gareth.
Hi there.
How have bookings been since all this? Has there been, because there was a slight boom, wasn't there, in terms of people things became quite cheap, and people were buying flights thinking that everything would be over quickly. Have you seen an increase or decrease in bookings?
We had a little minor spike when EasyJet released in advance some flights for the winter, just to have a bit of good news. So we had a few people inquire and one or two bookings off the back of that. But really, everyone's, consumer confidence has been shattered, hasn't it? So, and everyone's so mindful of committing. So how long is this situation going to go on for? We just don't know. And if something is allowed, and the Brits are able to travel, then there may well be a stampede. Who knows? Particularly to France, where lots of the British love to get in their car and have their 2-week holiday in France.
No, absolutely. And how are you feeling about sort of getting the business back to normality?
Again, it is a minefield because we're just a small family-owned business. We don't have infinite resources. We're already stretched and trying to not only interpret information from one country, but we've got the office and the booking company in the UK, and then we've got a French operating company for our holidays in Morzine and the French Alps, and then the same in Portugal for our holidays in the Western Algarve. So we're trying to interpret in foreign languages for two of the three countries, the ever-changing rules and the whispers and the rumours about what may or may not happen. So it's a minefield.
I mean, it must be really stressful, because I get stressed for all of us. But I suppose if you've had this business for 25 years, and it's got to be hard.
It's our baby, and we spent so long building it up, and you don't want to just see it all just be shattered to rubble. So we need to just try and find a way to navigate through, really. But one piece of news comes out and then that's contradicted with something else, and the mainstream media, I don't really pay too much attention because there's so much spin on it. So hard to see the wood from the trees.
How have you dealt with refunds and people trying to cancel?
We're trying to navigate a path through that it's a sensible way. So as soon as this happened, we spoke to all of our customers individually. We made a big effort to let our customers know that we were here, that we wanted to discuss what was happening with people, and just to be open and honest and transparent, and let people know that we weren't abandoning people. We weren't abandoning them, but we were trying to work out how to deal with this. On our side, when our customers book with us, they agreed to our booking terms and conditions. And in the booking terms and conditions, it's the first and most significant condition is that our guests have travel insurance. So we are, as small businesses, we are relying on the multi-billion dollar insurance industries to do what is right and allow people to claim on their policies without finding really silly exemptions and trying to wiggle out of it. But if for whatever reason that is not the case, then let us help you. But we need to work out the losses of our customers. And that's taking a long time because travel insurers are obviously swamped with claims at the moment and are struggling themselves. And personally, in my opinion, they are stringing things out as well. So it is a really, really complicated situation. But if we just refunded all of our guests who had holidays cancelled for their chalets and apartments in the Alps this winter, then we would not be able to stay in business because we've incurred the cost of those holidays already. That's the problem. So it's trying to find a sensible way through this that supports everyone.
No, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you're doing your best to wade through all of this. And, if I was one of your customers, I'd be very, I think we'd be very lucky because I think, it is definitely difficult on your part as well as the customer side. I think it's really important to kind of take that into account. But honestly, good luck with it all. And, hopefully it won't be too long until you can resume to normal business. But it's just a case of waiting and seeing what happens.
Very uncertain times, but let's all be optimistic and hopefully we'll see everyone on the other side.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been amazing to talk to you. It's really nice to hear both sides. You've got the customer and then you've got the business side. And it really does make you realise we are in this symbiont relationship. You take one bit out and it all kind of halts.
No, absolutely. I think ultimately it's just about finding a suitable solution for all in some way. Well, that's it for us for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Stay strong and safe, beautiful people.